the gold medal. In order for you to get a shot at the world title, you have to beat Sugar Ray Seals. I fought Jamie Thomas in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 1981. He told me that. From then on, I saw the blood in my eye and my left eye when I couldn't see things. Right after that, everything else happened. You get hit on one eye, and the next eye go out of whack. I had 7 eye surgeries, 4 in my left, 3 in my right. I'm only seeing my right eye, but I believe God is in the left eye because sometimes it comes. In 1984, I was broke. I had over $100,000 in eye bills. Sammy Davis Jr. came to town and he performed. And they said what he lost $20,000. Well, I was $100,000 in eye bill and that was gone. So the $20,000 that he lost, they paid for my eye bills and whatever's behind that. They said, but Sammy Davis Jr. That's what I'm talking about. Now, because of that hook is there, the uppercut is there. So it's a bang bang hook, uppercut. Show it to me. Bam, there you come. But don't cheat yourself because the uppercut's right here. Yeah. And then when you're done, you come back to the straight right hand. Because here, pay attention right here. Yeah. Because that's all I say. My job is to give back what I've got. Listen, I love help. So that's what I do now. I'm a boxing coach here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I love the game. So I'm always not only talking the game, I'm working.
He's giving us some of his skills, you know, and the things that got him a gold medal. He giving us that game, you know, he giving us showing us the ropes and trying to tell us what to do and to get the proper form or whatever it may be, you know, to achieve what he achieved.
Muhammad Ali said to me in an autograph, he said, service to others is the rent we pay for our room in heaven. Service. The Lord said in order for you to come home, you got to provide. You got to help. You got to give. You got to share. And that's what we do. Love the game. Love the game.
Yeah.
It was. I can say yes.
I'll say yes too. The style of it fit the boxing gym. You know what I'm saying? Like everything.
The only things I had were when they had him just against that wall.
Could have been a little more creative.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate hearing someone and seeing their lips flap.
Yeah, because I get it takes me a second.
It's distracting.
Hearing someone from another.
No, same person. Like if
yeah. No, I'm saying hearing someone from another clip, but seeing another different clip.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like in the beginning, we heard him talking, but then his lips are moving.
Like I like if his lips weren't moving, I'd be fine with it.
Yes,
you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, I still say yes.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good.
New York. I did like it. New York's finest. Okay.
Our unit is part of precision policing. We are going after the worst of the worst.
Every day, when Detective Julio LaSalle comes to work.
Right now, we're looking at 2 homicides.
He plays a key role with NYPD's gun violence suppression team.
4 non-fatal shootings. Anything that has to do with firearms, we're focused on those individuals.
But before Detective LaSalle wore this uniform...
You always want to be a police officer?
Well, I wanted to be a baseball player.
This kid from Brooklyn sported Dodger blue.
My friend calls me and goes, hey, the Dodgers just selected you in the 13th round.
Once upon a time, Detective LaSalle played professional ball.
You had a 1.74 ERA.
Yeah.
Look at you, 49 strikeouts.
Yeah, I had a good year.
A pitcher in single A, then the independent league.
Oh, this is when I got selected.
LaSalle has a binder full of headlines and highlights, but he never made it to the big show.
What career would you choose if you weren't playing baseball?
Yeah, I said police officer.
Keeping score, Detective LaSalle keeps different stats. 47 awards, 408 arrests in 13 years.
I didn't want to be passive in my career and just kind of show up for work.
And his job with the NYPD ended up being one of life's curveballs. A allowing LaSalle to hold on to his childhood dream. Connecting to community, building morale within the department.
Next. It's funny how good you guys hit when the camera's here, huh?
That's why the NYPD's baseball team was created.
I'm doing this because I love it. I think that it's important with our profession to have a good outlet.
Each player foots their own bill.
Next.
A lot of guys made it their business to be here today.
All right, I think that's good.
Guys come before work, they come after work, they come on their days off.
To take on law enforcement teams from around the tri-state and across the world.
We've won gold medal at least 3 or 4 times. Everybody here, we know that there's a level of talent.
As New York's finest prepare to take on New York's bravest at Brooklyn's MCU Park for charity.
Last year, when we played this game against the fire department, they beat us. So the guys are definitely aware that this is important to us. It's a charity event, but there's a lot of bragging rights at stake.
NYPD's baseball team knows when they gather, the teamwork, the passion.
It's important for us to perform well. You know, everyone knows NYPD.
The mission carries over in protecting New York City.
Teamwork, you know, you have to rely on guys, you have to count on guys. Bunch of people all going in the same direction. Oh, I think I'm gonna get one.
Making the catch is this team's drive, both on and off the field.
Hey, finest on 3.
In the Bronx.
Ready?
1, 2, 3, finest!
Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
You guys look good.
Cindy's Run.
That's a yes for me.
Is this my favorite?
Yes, it is.
Well, hit
Play it real
play.
quick.
Yeah.
All right, then scoops, heel to toe,
Sometimes
from the wood to the wall.
the perception of limits pushes us to smash them.
I know.
Maybe I want to watch it again.
Oh my God.
It's good they submitted that.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that, but that is a sports feature.
Eli Marathon.
Eli Marathon?
This sounds familiar too.
It does.
Oh.
Is this the canoe?
Ely, Minnesota, rivers.
I don't know.
Or they run with the canoes?
While canoes are known for a more peaceful pace.
There's not much I don't like about it.
Yeah.
That's Dan Dremel in the stern and girlfriend Abby Day up front.
It's empowering.
Hang on
We
one
can watch
second.
it. We
Native
haven't seen
Twin
it in
City,
forever, so.
who've embraced Ely's
We didn't
canoe
watch it
culture.
together
Yeah.
Let's
Ely
watch it.
wears canoes as proudly as prom queens wear tiaras, which brings us to
beautiful.
Ely, Nirvana, the day each fall when the nature of
Beauty shots are
canoeing
on
in
point.
Ely
Morning, how you doing?
gets flipped on its head.
We're glad you're here for the 4th annual Ely Bowl Marathon.
The world's only marathon with the canoe portaging division.
It's a little nuts.
It's a lot.
I want to do it just to find out if I can, to see if it's possible.
Dan Dremel is now just a mile or two into a race in which he will shoulder a 35-pound canoe more than 26 miles.
We think it's crazy.
The craziness started 2 years ago
Yeah.
when Dan and Abby asked the race director if they could run the marathon taking turns portaging their canoe for fun.
We were like, well, why not?
Inspired herself the same year, Linan Vesper crashed the half marathon on her own.
It was really a personal challenge at the time.
Tradition born.
I do a lot of canoe camping up here, and this is just the ultimate portage.
Brian Bittner is among a dozen runners
I suppose I feel pretty good.
now competing officially in either the full or half marathon canoe portaging division.
My first half marathon, not my first time portaging a canoe.
Dana Gilbertson is running too,
This is go Dana.
navigating one of America's most scenic marathon courses.
And I can't see it. Just the front of a canoe.
Way to go. Keep it up. You got this. Nice job.
Dan Dramel, meantime, is nearing the halfway point of the full marathon.
He definitely wants to win. That's a huge driving force for him.
I think it's just about learning what I can do and pushing my own limits and finding out what the next thing is.
Number 689, Dana Gilbertson.
Dana Gilbertson and her throbbing back approach the end of the half marathon. The top female finisher.
That's exactly what I expected. Absolutely miserable, type 2 fun.
Truest Minnesotan thing you could think of is to carry a canoe for a whole marathon.
Then, fighting the wind and more than 5 hours of a canoe paddling him.
Definitely in pain.
Good work, Dan.
Number 142.
Dan Dramel
With a canoe on his back.
powers himself to first place
Dan Dremel.
in the canoe portaging full marathon.
Man can do anything. He'd probably do it again.
No, I'm done. I'm ready to be done until next year.
A town where canoes are king now has its crowning achievement.
Oh, this is so easy.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Boyd Hooper, Care 11 News. Ely.
I'll be like, man, y'all better come get this canoe.
Can I leave here till tomorrow?
Yeah, right. That's a maybe. No, I'm just joking.
Damn! Yes, that
Yes,
was good.
very much a
What
yes.
crazy people. What? I just think my back would be
Yeah, my
permanently
back hurts
injured.
watching that video. Was this Wrinkled Dreams? Is this the one I think it is?
I don't know.
Yep.
Yes. Not a thing amiss on the Schultz farm. Not the crops.
It's a yes.
It's definite.
Wow. I didn't realize this was going to be so competitive. Well, I don't know sports features. But, wow.
Sports.
Sports.
What was that?
He's
golfed
the mall.
The mall.
Okay. Oh, he's golfed them all.
Golf.
No, it's the guy who's trying to get every
It was
golf
something
course.
I didn't think anybody had ever done before. Once I got started, I couldn't stop.
Yeah, it's a long
Favorite Golf can get in your head. There's no doubt about that. When I first started playing all the golf courses, I thought there was only about maybe 220, 230 courses. Where I'm at now is 581 courses played. I like that sound. This will be 582. Oh, this is so neat looking. The logistics of playing all the courses and the miles and crisscrossing through the different parts of the state. Just an awful lot of miles on my car, I know that. Yeah, I've got six books. It goes on and on. A lot of golf scorecards. Street in. If there was daylight, I would play golf from 6 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night.
Ping, 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 ping.
Still hit the end of the club. I've been to some places in Minnesota that I never would have been if it hadn't been for going to the golf courses. That's down the middle. And I think my wife was a golf widow for a few years there when I was making the weekend trips, playing 6, 7, 8 courses on a weekend, sometimes more than that. So now getting a chance to do some things that are on her bucket list. Even I can make this one. And I think Minnesota's probably got some of the greatest courses that you could ever possibly play. Happy I was able to do it.
It was good, but nothing popped at me, I think.
Say
I can say no for that one.
But it was good. Good sequences. Taking aim.
Shooting for the stars might seem like a reach. Grounded in the suburbs of Utah County.
Choir.
track,
daily family life,
a lot of baseball,
can be downright hectic.
The bigger your family gets, there's more stuff that pulls you in different directions.
But no goal ever feels like a long shot inside the Carlson home.
There's a lot of memories and dreams and aspirations that go into this.
No matter what's going on, with any combination of 9 kids and stepchildren,
So we have one more that is yet to be a teenager.
Julia Carlson always encourages them to take aim.
You're progressing, right? You're not at the bottom anymore, you're moving up.
Of course, taking aim is what Carlson does best.
That flag right there probably won't affect my 200-yard line. Right now, there's no wind, but the further back that we go, I might need another 1 to 2 inches.
The Centerville hillside is one of the places where Carlson set her sights on marksmanship.
This is one of my first ranges. It's what you think, it's what you see, and it's your finger pulling the trigger.
Her story is a tale
Those are my long-range ones.
of extreme long shots.
I started when I was 16 years old.
A hidden talent emerged in the teenager,
I just went up there, I grabbed the rifle, and I started shooting, and I won.
and winning became a passion that pointed Carlson toward military service.
So when I went to the Nationals, that's where all the military service teams were. I wanted someone to see me the way I saw the Marines. And that's why I joined the Marine Corps.
Carlson proved to be one of the best on shooting ranges that had historically been dominated by men in contests involving targets as far as 1,000 yards away.
In 1998, I was the first woman to win the National Trophy Individual.
Carlson was named Female Athlete of the Year for the Marine Corps, and that was only the beginning. She went on to claim 15 inter-service titles, 40 national titles, and 5 international military arms competition titles.
The men from the other countries, this woman, you hear this low roar of, they couldn't believe there was a female Marine that was coming up to get this award.
It was a decorated career. She became a trainer's trainer, coaching the Corps' best marksmen. Her service included tours to Afghanistan and Iraq.
This was Iraq.
She was a celebrity. I mean, people ask for her autograph. Her achievements in the Marine Corps are amazing. I mean, they really, really are.
But any signs of Carlson's storied shooting career are largely absent from her house.
Take that. That's where they are.
Oh my goodness.
Under the stairs. I don't know. I love that one.
Carlson keeps her awards in boxes, even the very best.
Women's rifle trophy.
Everybody has something hidden in their closet. I have national trophies hidden in mine. Who knew?
She's simply lost count.
But I don't know how many I have.
Didn't you used to have one of these?
And she doesn't seem to mind.
Not that I'm not proud of these, but I'm most proud of my family.
Carlson would rather have the spotlight on someone else.
Okay, see the blonde girl on the very edge. Sarah's sitting in front of her.
Her daughter and stepdaughter have had graduation in their crosshairs.
Sarah Passy. Woo! She earned her certified nursing assistant. I'm really happy.
Taking aim is now a lesson Carlson passes on to those around her,
There's always a shot that can be more center.
helping them to stay on target
I'm proud of you, kiddo.
throughout their lives.
Thanks for being such a good example. And then watching them cross the stage means more to me than it does for me to be on the stage. That's what means the most to me. There's my trophies right there.
There's a book called Steal Like an Artist, and I think everyone should read it.
That's a yes for me.
That's a yes for me.
Absolute yes for me.
That was really well done.
I haven't seen it.
Can you hold up before you go to the next one for a second? Let me just write some notes here.
Yeah, I do need a slider.
I just got
Yeah,
one.
man, that
They're
man
not
floated.
that bad.
Man floated. It's like 4 feet. I think it's 4 feet. It's like $150.
I have a 3-foot one.
Maybe it's 3 foot.
Mine's automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning you just hit go and it'll.
Yeah. So with mine, I can I can set it. Be like, I want you to stop here, start here, stop here, and put it on auto, and it'll just go back and forth the whole time until I tell it to stop.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different things you can do. And like mine, you can turn it so it goes backwards and goes forward, like within the track, you know, so it'll go like up.
Like, that's why I thought that was a track shot when they was going, the pictures
Yeah.
was going, coming in the frame.
Very
but
well
in
could have
reverse
been.
way.
Yeah. And it's cool. I mean,
John Donald. I feel like we've seen this one.
Probably have.
Yes, that's
Probably have.
Wait, John Donaldson
At this
is
point.
the.
You're getting to the point where you've seen a lot of stuff.
If words were cast in bronze and brass, you'd already know this story. But these words have faded, like the greatness of the man they once described, into the obscurity of a northeast Minneapolis basement.
This is where John Donaldson's legacy resides today.
The basement of Pete Gorton.
I study this all the time. I think about this all the time.
And the legacy of the greatest baseball player you've never heard of. 20 years before Jackie Robinson broke the major league color barrier, John Donaldson was breaking it in Bertha. Denied access to the major leagues after 2 solid years in the Negro Leagues, the left-handed hurler was lured away by the money to small-town Minnesota.
In 1924, he makes more than all the players on his team, all the payouts to the other teams they played against combined.
He filled the stands.
Every single time. And the pockets of everyone there. If you had the famous John Donaldson on your team, it was guaranteed to be talked about statewide.
Good bins.
Bertha and Lismore, Melrose, St. Cloud, and Fairmont each signed on Donaldson for a season or more. Barnstorming and exhibitions took Donaldson to 550 North American cities.
If he had been white,
he would have had a profound major league career. And he would be a household name right now.
But no one erects bronze statues, even for dominant pitchers, if you've spent your career town hopping. At best, after death, you're rediscovered.
This is just one of the file boxes.
By Pete Gorton.
I've been working on this every day for over 18 years.
18 years.
Here's Fremont, Nebraska.
Scouring small-town papers and museums.
Jamestown, North Dakota.
Unearthing bits and pieces of Donaldson's 33-year career.
Here's a perfect game he throws out in Plentywood, Montana. Up to now, we have found 14 no-hitters, 505 wins. We have 5,039 verified strikeouts, and every single one of those are in these boxes.
From Fergus Falls, 39 seconds of previously unknown film of Donaldson pitching.
He strikes out 18 guys that day.
And from across Minnesota.
1924 selfies.
Pictures, Doug, from family albums.
I'm convinced they're all over the place, but people just don't know who that black guy in the picture is with great-great-grandpa.
But the guy with John Donaldson on his men's league uniform.
All right, boys, here we go, 2 down.
Won't be done until everyone knows.
So his legacy is totally buried here.
Everyone.
Yeah, left-handed pitcher, greatest black pitcher of all time. He was obviously a major leaguer, not in the major leagues, and not in the major leagues because of his skin color, and that's part of the legacy that we need to restore.
A century after John Donaldson's story was first written.
Right.
Pete Gorton is writing a wrong.
How can we close the lid on him again?
Boyd Hooper, Carol 11 News, Minneapolis.
Oh, yes. What's that?
Beat baseball.
I didn't
remember
either
this.
until we watched it back home.
I remember this one.
Oh, this was fun.
Yeah, okay.
I remember it being fun, but...
Yeah.
All right, City of Kent.
It's great to be here and super cool to watch.
I am the voice of the Seattle South Kings Slaggers.
We have folks from the city of Kent.
Oh, that was there.
They've been kind enough to help us promote our sport.
Like, I've never heard of this.
Time to show up and show out. Let's go.
I can't comprehend how they do it. I mean, it's amazing. They are going to put on blindfolds today.
And when you're used to seeing and not being able to, it makes it really hard.
They're going to challenge us in our own sport.
It's called baseball.
We're watching this amazing
I can say no.
I can say no, too. It's a really fun story.
Because
The competition.
It's too stiff for that one.
Are you familiar with that story? It's where there's a blind baseball team, and there are people who are putting on blindfolds to compete against them.
Like next to the cop.
Yeah. Yep. Next one.
The turn.
Yep.
All right, go and take your setup for me.
Let's get your knees in first.
A little bit toward me.
We want this to be a kind of a,
Good.
you know, this oasis that they can come to and be part of.
All right.
The key here is turn the head in a little bit. The sense of normalcy. Give it a whack.
All right, we're live.
At the North Olmsted Golf Club,
Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
between the tees,
They've had something happen to them.
All right, Don.
there's little talk of
It's the right idea.
birdies,
Hold on.
bogeys, and ball flight. But there is beauty.
That's okay.
It's not always in the form
Good try.
of those who are challenged the most.
Internally, these people are no different.
I think it is definitely aiding in my health.
Like Herb Werner from Bay Village.
It was a Saturday in the summer.
He could be any one of us.
There was one downspout that was clogged with the tassels and was overflowing.
Just trying to do some work around the home.
I cleared it with a stick and a nail, and then getting back onto the ladder. The bottom of the ladder kicked out. When I hit the ground, I went to get back up and realized that I couldn't move my lower extremities.
Herb was paralyzed from the waist down. Life took a downward turn.
You know, initially, there's nothing more you want to do than to roll over and go back to sleep and wake up and find out, oh, you know, this was a dream.
Oh, nice.
But then,
Who wants to go beat up hole number 6?
Let's do it.
it took
Onward and upward.
another turn
Go in.
to a program called
Herb.
The Turn,
Great swing.
Good, he's on 4.
which uses a handful of these paramobile carts and other mobility devices. Lifting, adjusting,
Oh, yeah, I like that.
moving
Feels good, feels good.
bodies.
Remember, explode. Down. There you go. Slow up. Down.
And not just on the course.
Turn back. There you go. And follow through.
The physical therapy is all year round. It happens in the basement,
Another 10.
where Colin Smith finds strength. Colin was like any one of our Marines today.
I was the turret gunner, the first car.
In Iraq. In an instant, though, a sniper shot Colin, nearly ending his life.
I was turning around, and then, bam, I don't remember anything.
Life took a turn for him, too. What goes through your mind when you hear your son has been shot?
He was not just shot. I mean, he was actually, part of his brain is no longer there.
But his whole heart is there.
Yes! Look at this.
And he's now sharing it
It's going to be on.
the course.
To see how far Colin has come in his time with the turn continues to motivate me on a day-to-day basis.
You see,
That's what we like.
the turn is much more than machines.
Right at it.
Run, run, run.
It is an oasis,
Oh, is this good? Come on, come on.
a place of acceptance, a place of encouragement,
Be enough.
and a place
Get in.
of togetherness.
It's in. Oh,
What we have
great putt.
is a community that
Great putt.
Looks good.
I would almost go so far as to say a family.
Look at this.
A family that includes a small staff and many volunteers.
Oh, man.
It's a wonderful program.
Wonderfully fun,
Well, group, our fate rests in the hands of Keith.
Oh, boy.
and not always serious.
Get the rosaries out.
There's no one better than golfers to
Looks good.
keep you grounded in reality.
They all keep each other grounded
Good job.
in many senses of that word. Proof that the turn
Told you we'd find it. It's in there.
isn't just moving bodies,
Do they treat you any different than anybody else?
Nah.
but moving the spirit
There it is. That's the one.
just as well.
Great putt, Herb. How's that make you feel?
Like one of the
Change the color.
Badasses.
All right, who's ready to make a putt?
In North Olmsted,
She says one more.
Jonathan Walsh, News 5.
Great job, guys.
Excellent, buddy.
That was great.
That was really great.
I want to say yeah.
Yeah, all I'm saying yes. My few critiques are like I did not like those fonts on the screen.
Come to make a difference in the end.
Yeah, I didn't like the
So,
fonts
yes.
on the screen.
But man, the gnat sound.
You know, but I like the quick pace up top. I wasn't real crazy about it at the end.
When they talked about like
When they went back to the, you know.
Military.
No. She's talking about
You know, the very,
sequencing
very
and all that
beginning
stuff,
where they
yeah.
started off with all the,
right.
and then the very, very end they did it too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and I could have done without it at the end because I started to get a little like what, but I liked it on the beginning to get you. Yeah, but that was really well done. Brilliant, what? Brilliant, Hannah.
Was it brilliant?
Getting ready to warm up. Get practice going.
Good, that's it.
Playback? Yes, you could play it. I just wanted
need to start over.
Start over, sorry.
Getting ready to warm up. Get practice going.
Good, that's it.
My name is Hannah Peterson. I am the goalkeeper for the FCKC 0099s. I am a junior. I go to Staley High School.
Shift the ball, shift yourself.
We had been in North Carolina for a National League. It's one of the toughest competitions in the nation.
Good.
We were in stoppage time, about 3 or 4 minutes left, and the ball had been coming down on our half. Well, right here, they're trying to cross it in front of our box, and the girl takes a shot, and I get my hand to it, and I go for it again. Right in that moment, I was just like, adrenaline's pumping, you know, like muscle memory kicks in at that point, and you just want to get to that ball as soon as possible. A couple of days ago, my mom was looking on Twitter again, and she goes, "Did you know you're on this?" And I was like, "On what?" And she goes, "This is the top 5 saves of the year," but it's like a big deal in like the soccer community. Well, at first, I just saw my name. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." My mom goes, "You're the only girl on that list," and I was like, "Really?" So I was like, "That's pretty big."
Hannah, that's brilliant. She made a wonderful save in a quite an important match. Creative save. We ask our players to be creative. So yeah, the team are trying to get her as many votes as possible, and we're all supportive of her, and hopefully she can achieve that and get the recognition she deserves.
Yep.
You know, if I do win, I hope to inspire more like me, you know, coming to goal, because it's not like the easiest position. It's not the most fun either, but well, I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm glad I got in there.
I can say no to it. Nothing jumped at me.
Yeah.
Stand out.
Yeah.
Chasing the dream.
It's that time of year again. Time to spruce up the diamond.
Oh, we're going to play today.
Wipe the slate clean and play ball on a field where success isn't measured on the scoreboard. For the Cross Keys varsity baseball team, the boys are back.
Ooh.
And so are the girls.
Lena? Oh, man, Lena is so cool. She's a jewel.
Left.
Playing second base in her second season, Lena Green is a rising star.
When she came out here and I saw her, I was like a little short on the short side, right? But then she threw the ball and my hand hurt.
You know, I like baseball. Baseball is actually pretty fun.
And she's not alone. Also on the roster, 9th grader Mitzi Solario.
I'm not like the best or anything, but I've improved a lot in my skills in baseball.
This is her first year to even play, but she's here every day. Loose, getting the elbow up.
Cross Keys is known as one of the most diverse schools in the state.
Hey, back over, right.
And the only co-ed team around.
We've got such a great mix of personalities.
Too many personalities isn't always a winning formula.
I mean, I actually get along with them. Everybody seems to get along, you know.
Even when things aren't going well. Like the time when freshman Callan Goins missed a catch and got hit in the face.
You think you could donate blood with that list?
But there's more to the story than just girls playing ball with the boys. For the Indians, it's a new season. Same old dream.
Being the perennial underdog, it gives you a hunger to lose that tag.
Hooray! Underdog may be an understatement.
Yeah, we're hoping. Just one W would be great.
Not only has the team not won a game this year, they're riding a 64-game losing streak.
You know, we'd like to see the day come when we are the favorite.
To add insult to injury, it's been 28 years since the Indians had a winning season.
In the face of this type of adversity, a lot of athletes walk away.
In the midst of failure, there is success.
Yep. All right, let's go. Get him in here.
Oh, there's so much potential on this team.
And after chasing the dream, it came down to the final game and a real chance for a win. Every hit, every run is a small victory.
We've been improving, working with each other, and that's what it's all about, like, you know, enjoying what we do.
The coach couldn't have said it better. And yes, they lost again. But as these kids already know, it's not all about winning and losing.
Line them up, guys.
That's what I like about this group is
all right, let's go.
You just can't take their hearts. You just can't, no matter what.
And while this team may be losing games, they're no doubt winning at life. In Atlanta, Adam Murphy, News.
I can say no to that one.
Yeah.
There were some technical things in there.
There's some technical things, and I do want to say one thing. When editing, and I know this is we're not judging on editing stuff, but sometimes you have to be you have to have a social sensitivity to cuts on words as well. And I know this is going to sound picky and sound kind of weird to some people, but like when you say the word Indian and then show, you know, someone who looks like they're from India or they're Indian descent, and it's like some people don't like the fact that people name their teams. It's just, I know it's picky, I know people don't like the idea, but it's just sometimes you just to stay away from it or to be above reproach. You try to just be conscious of that, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it may throw people off like it threw me off and stuff, but that's just me. You know, some people don't care about that. Some people don't even think about it, or because it's not like a big deal. And it's not out of malice at all. You know what I'm saying? It's not malicious or anything like that. It's just an unconscious thing sometimes that that people could do. And so anyway.
But there were a few technical things.
Technically, yeah.
Got me too. But I understand what you're saying.
Play for Santa Fe.
Play for Santa Fe.
I feel like we've seen this one too.
Well, we decided to leave it up to the kids.
Thank you.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to play for Santa Fe.
Pitch. They told us they want to do it for the families and the community and everybody else. Just have a night of normalcy, maybe.
Oh, what a catch. Yeah.
He's told me I got shot, and I still didn't feel it.
He's fortunate. He's very lucky.
You know, he came home and he told me, you know, I watched a girl die today. He watched the kid beside him get shot, and then the girl get shot. This is good for him to come out and play this game.
I think it's incredible how our community has just backed us up, and how no matter what, even if we lost, they're still behind us.
It's very hard to come out here and be as strong as they were. I'm very proud of them.
I feel like I wanted more.
I did too.
It was shot beautifully.
It was, but there was stuff missing for me.
Yeah,
I wanted to feel.
I almost feel like they were probably told you got this much time to do this, and it needs to be within this time, and they did that because
I've
that
learned to
type
fight
of
for that, though, 'cause
yeah, that type of story, this type of story, and this type of feel is like, man,
It was
give me
rushed.
some more stuff, you know. Right, investment, yeah, yeah. I thought it was shot beautifully though, right?
It was, yeah, it for sure was.
The color on that going into sunset and stuff was really good.
So it's a no.
No.
It's a no, sorry. Salt, yep, need some salt.
Like a
Like a
heart.
heartbeat. It's the racquetball one.
Oh, like a heartbeat.
If you listen closely, you can hear it. It's like a heartbeat.
So we love having it. You know, it's part of community.
Constant.
If you want to play a game, get in line.
In a swath of Denver full of change.
Not super upscale, but it's a nice, friendly environment.
We've seen a big metamorphosis in the neighborhood. And, you know, with the explosive growth in the Denver economy, this neighborhood being this close to downtown, we've really seen a lot of change.
Gentrification.
A lot of traditions need to stay.
They're just there all the time.
Seesawing crime rates. People coming, people going. But deep in the heart of historic Whittier, these three walls
No.
No. My reasoning is it's not as it's not up there with the top 5 that I have
It's a
already.
good story, for sure,
Yeah, it is
yeah.
a good story, yeah.
And it has good elements.
Dundas is baseball.
In the small town of Dundas, Dukes are revered like kings.
This team is like it's at the entertainment in the area, which is good entertainment.
The Dundas Dukes are the only game in town, and through the years, both players and fans have fallen in love with this club, and for many, it's a special type of love that stands the test of time.
This is my 19th season.
I started in 1975, and I coached and played until 1999.
I've been playing for Dundas. This is my 19th year.
25 and 18, 43 years.
The citizens of Dundas love to see the Dukes win, but that's not the motivating factor to come to the ballpark on a beautiful summer night. If you take
the orange guy?
Yeah, yeah. That's enough.
That's good.
That'll be good. Thank you.
both players and fans have fallen in love with this club, and for many, it's a special type of love that stands the test of time.
This is my 19th season.
I started in 1975, and I coached and played until 1999.
I've been playing for Dundas. This is my 19th year.
25 and 18, 43 years.
The citizens of Dundas love to see the Dukes win, but that's not the motivating factor to come to the ballpark on a beautiful summer night. If you take your eyes off the game for a minute, you'll see kids shagging foul balls like it was a full-time job.
There we go, kids. That's another $1 foul ball, courtesy of Alan M. of Dundas.
It doesn't pay like one, but for every foul ball they catch, $1 is given. Just enough to get popcorn at the concession stand that's run by a familiar face, striking up familiar conversation with fans, and over the lap.
Yeah.
On the coloring on this one. Yeah, I mean, it was they was trying to do a lot of stuff, but yeah, it was a lot of color for me. A showdown like no other. A showdown.
No one remembers the cafeteria buzzing like this.
Thank you.
Tickets.
Thank you.
Selling faster than a daily lunch special.
I think that they're buying it because it's something different. You need 4 tickets.
At Monacan High School.
Thank you.
It's one of the most anticipated events
Here's your ticket.
on the calendar.
Oh my gosh. It's like they come up to you like, here you go, here you go, here you go.
For Caitlin Harris and Emma Karlstrom,
Yeah.
it's a fast break lesson in economics.
Yeah, giving me a 20 to pay for 1 ticket. I'm like, okay.
The two juniors never anticipating a crush of so many classmates.
Oh my gosh, so busy. Like incredibly busy. So many more people than we could have ever imagined.
The Chiefs' athletics usually draw massive crowds.
Thank you.
But on this day, a showdown like no other.
I don't know if they know what's coming. I think they're underestimating their competition.
These players expecting victory.
So students are very excited to come out and watch them get out of their element and try something new.
Just lean back to stop. Try 2 pushes and stopping.
One stipulation for this game, each competitor must dribble, pass, and score sitting in a wheelchair.
Yeah, tip Ed.
Monacan going head-to-head with Sportable, a nonprofit helping young people
Don't underestimate us.
like Elijah Bondison.
There you go, Hannah. We can do sports. Don't say you can't.
The 20-year-old was diagnosed with spina bifida at an early age. The debilitating condition affecting his spinal cord never keeps him sidelined. From racing to baseball, the wheelchair athlete competes with a smile, all while finding comfort on the court.
3 to the side, 3 to the side.
The
3 to the
basketball junkie considers himself
push Ed.
an offensive threat.
Force.
From the first play, it's clear
My arms are tired and I'm sweating like crazy.
the Chiefs' opponents nearly unbeatable. Baskets rack up for Sportable,
I don't know if you can score 50 points.
while Monacan lags far behind.
You see the score, right? I would love to have confidence, but at the same time, it's just like...
And that is really the point of this game.
I just really think that it created a newfound appreciation for disabled athletes.
The event is the brainchild of Blakely, Caitlin, Megan, and Emma,
A lot of work went into it by all 4 of us.
a school project that's doubling as a life lesson.
I'm very impressed at how talented they are.
Bringing wheelchair basketball to me just brought out like a whole new world.
Edward Miller's life changed in an instant 5 years ago.
I got shot 5 times coming back from a party.
Gunfire left the 21-year-old paralyzed from the chest down. Now, Edward is adjusting to life, looking up.
My life's been going great because without Sportables and wheelchair basketball, I don't know where would I be now. So my life is going pretty good.
The former football player takes great pride showing others he's still got game.
I was really honored to break that barrier in between me and the kids because some kids just look at us like we're strange.
In the end, the matchup.
This is a no for me.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just quite a few exposure issues and.
MMA nerves.
Huh?
No, I was just explaining why we said no.
MMA nurse.
Come on back.
If an unfortunate event in your life lands you in the nuclear medicine department at Medical City Arlington,
Head goes up on the pillow.
with experts
Feet down this way. Is that comfortable?
searching CT scans to find your problem,
So I just need you to relax and hold as still as you can.
you would be fortunate if you also found a nurse named Jen Ufry,
I have about a minute and a half left.
a highly trained, kind, and caring, gentle soul
And we do cardiac stress tests, which are kind of the gold standard.
who spends the rest of her time searching not so gently for a different kind of gold altogether.
I'm getting rich.
All right, guys, let's go and bow in.
I'm getting rich. Watch out, little
Let's see it.
This is Jen in Fort Worth, what she'd consider her normal habitat, throwing punches at her husband and coach, grappling with training partners on the mat, being pretty much as badass as a 105-pound fighting machine can be.
We joke around sometimes, yeah, that I'm like fixing people up during the day and like putting them in the hospital at night and busting them up.
But if you look more closely at the banner behind her on the wall, busting up people isn't just a hobby. She already has the goal she spent years searching so hard to find.
Jen, you
Jen Ufry is the atomweight world champion in Invicta FC,
Very technically sound is the Texan.
a 7-3 mixed martial arts record,
Oh, nice spin out by Fry. Big left hand.
and that gold belt,
The new
she got it in a title match just this past July.
out of Arlington, Texas.
I enjoy the internal challenge. Like, it's not necessarily about hurting people. It's not necessarily about, you know, winning belts. At first, I was just getting in shape, and it was just kind of fun. And then I kind of got it to where I wanted to compete.
Her career began a few years ago with a knockout that went viral.
The first time I hit her, it broke my hand. And then I hit her again, and I was like, oh, God, that hurt.
After that, everything didn't always go her way. Last December in Seoul, South Korea, she was on the receiving end, losing
her first title shot.
Sport has the highest highs and the lowest lows. It's always kind of rough coming back from something like that, but like I said, you just got to put your nose to the grindstone and get through it.
She did get through it.
Yeah, she's very competitive. Almost.
Because as her husband says, she hates and hates to lose.
That'll feed you into it. Or when she's reading a book, and she's like, I've got to finish the book. I've got to know what happens. It's like, book's not going anywhere. Those pages aren't going anywhere.
If we're just walking down the street, like I want to walk down the street faster than you. I want to get there first. I'm so competitive.
You getting mad?
So competitive that this fighting nuclear medicine technician also has 3 college degrees, including her master's, and she's working now to defend her title in December. So she keeps at it.
As long as it's still fun, as long as it doesn't feel like work. I've reached my goal of becoming the champion. Obviously, I want to defend my belt, and everything after that's gravy.
As soon as this knee comes up.
As for the gravy of being a celebrity,
It's kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and boxing.
back at the hospital,
Like, all 4, like, at the same time.
she's still just Jen.
And you were a champion.
Yes, I am the champion.
An unassuming, quiet, and reserved champion ready to meet her next challenge, while also hoping she never needs the help of a nurse just like her.
Nice. Boom.
In Fort Worth, Kevin Reese, Channel 8 News.
I'm afraid of her.
That was a yes for me.
That one's a yes for me.
Most definitely.
Yep.
That was a really good story.
Unanimous yes?
Yes.
Do we really have 30?
What does that say?
Ivana hurt you. Remember? Ivana hurt you.
Hi, everybody. Come on in,
yes,
grab
yes,
your name
yes.
tags, have a seat. I think you either love them or you hate them at this age, and I love them. Hey, cool. These are my people. Just going for it. Awesome. My name's Julie Lagacy. I teach art at Chief Cana Middle School for grades 6 through 8. Contrast. Why don't you show me contrast?
Yes, we're done. Yeah.
The one before this last one, the MMA nurse.
Yeah.
That's. Boy.
I know. That's a good.
That's a good one right there. Priscilla Project.
A gym can be an intimidating place to walk into. With a blend of thumping and grunting, welcoming visitors. But Summit CrossFit in Asheville marches to a different tune.
We're gonna switch it up. We've had lots of hip hop the last few days. We're gonna go 90s rock. Yeah, baby.
The foundation of CrossFit is to meet people where they're at.
Drive up through those heels.
And then take them
there you go.
as far as they want to go.
Nice work. In CrossFit, we kind of focus on being a well-rounded athlete.
It's that kind of challenge that breathes life into Kevin Hite.
A little bit on the toes.
It's not just one thing. You've got to know. CrossFit, there are so many different things between gymnastics, running, lifting.
I was like, those shots look out of focus.
Yeah. That's a no.
Yeah,
This is strength.
Hold on one second. Oh, never mind.
This is
I remember this one too, but hold on one second. Oh, go. You go. Go ahead.
I was like, who
Go
are you
ahead, go.
talking
Go ahead. Go
about?
ahead. That one. Yes.
This beautiful is strength on display for the world to see.
There we go.
Bodybuilders owning their moment on stage. But it's not their muscles that make them strong. It's their stories. Elite male athletes,
Number 1, would you like to hit your favorite pose?
all born women, competing in the only transgender competition of its kind right here in Atlanta. 8 bodybuilders, including Kennedy Connors,
I was born as Ashley.
who brought us along on his journey.
Honestly, I don't know who that person is. Definitely don't know that one.
From his past,
I see lack of confidence in almost every single photo.
Side triceps.
To his present.
The process of going through this is not easy. I will be completely honest with you. If you can imagine yourself going through male puberty and menopause at the exact same time, that's what it feels like on a daily basis.
A one-time struggle for Kennedy and his wife, Nikki.
Even though we had nights where we went to sleep with him
without saying a word because he was just, didn't he?
I just remembered the story and I liked it.
It was a powerful story.
Yeah.
It is. It's a no.
It's a no.
No, it's a no.
Yes, it's a no.
I know.
Yes, it's a no.
Oh, Frenchie.
Frenchie, I don't need to watch Frenchie.
I don't need to
This
watch
is a
Frenchie
yes
either.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a yes.
You don't like that one?
No, it's just this is really hard. This is
Oh, JB's touchdown is the kid.
Oh, I don't need to watch that one either. Oh my God, I'm trying not to cry the rest of the day. Is that really what the next? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That one's a
Where the kid, they
big.
give the kid the
Yeah,
ball,
that's
football.
a big yes
I don't
for
know
me.
that name. They renamed it something else.
They did? Oh, for you. Got it. Yeah.
Is this one a yes?
Yes.
It's a yes.
Yes, it is.
We have our jobs cut out for us.
Ryan is shook over here.
Struggling over here, man.
This is the worst for us. I think so far. Olympic high school.
Olympic school gym.
Do we need to see this?
Yeah.
From Pyeongchang to Minnetonka,
All right, Aiden and Krish.
students at Academy of Whole Learning are the newest members of Team USA, competing in their own Olympic Winter Games.
We did the luge, we did alpine skiing, we did bobsledding, floor hockey. Oh! It took some creativity of using the equipment that I had and putting it together and telling the kids, this is what we got, this is how we're...
It's a no.
Last ride.
Motorcycle? No.
Is it?
No, it's not.
What
Can you play
I feel
it,
like I've
please?
seen it. Yeah, play it.
You can see it's some grandstands, a fence, some dirt. I think it's our last halt of the Old West.
Y'all put your hands together and make some noise. The Williamson County Mounted Sheriff Posse.
When Texas flags and rodeo dirt both flew on a Saturday night in Georgetown, Texas about a month ago,
When this cowboy nods his head, we want some noise. Come on!
it looked like any other.
You betcha!
Quintessential Lone Star celebration of all things Texan, all things cowboy.
Come on, Georgetown, make some noise. Yes!
A summer night where fans young and old would again witness the grit, grime, and guts that tamed the American West.
Look at that! Woo!
But actually, this night was also something else. Part rodeo.
You know, a rodeo just doesn't happen overnight.
And part funeral.
Tonight is the... You're hurting me.
That's why Chris Mattis had so much trouble getting through this one interview.
Tonight is the last performance that we will have in this arena.
The outdoor rodeo here at this same location since 1943, the second longest running rodeo of its kind in the entire state,
The 75th anniversary.
is ending its 75-year run.
Here we go.
But not by choice.
The hard work of all these guys and gals that help out every year, that's what makes it special, and that's why it's so hard to deal with what's coming on.
What's coming is the modern world. While the Cowboys might own the rodeo, the city of Georgetown owns the property. And in the next few years, these 9 acres are slated to become green space, part of a city park along the San Gabriel River.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Dynamite Days.
This night, with its pageantry, its busting and roping and race for those precious 8 seconds,
Let's go, baby, let's go. All right.
was to be the rodeo's last ride.
I've been here since the 60s.
Y'all put your hands together.
Johnny Hoyle still has memories as a kid watching his dad rope and ride on this arena floor. He understands why even the toughest Central Texas cowboy might shed a Saturday night tear.
They've got a lot of time in here, and it is an emotional thing for them. It means that much to a lot of people, and I just don't know if they've really explored it enough to see that it is a valuable part of the history here in Georgetown.
The organizers of the Williamson County Sheriff's Posse hope to have this rodeo somewhere else in the county next year. They just don't yet know where or how to keep its mystique alive.
But
True, yeah.
you got to get it when you can get it. But no.
Those opening shots, everything was good.
Birthday tradition at Crank's.
I was fascinated by the relationship between the mind.
Oh, yeah, good. Birthday tradition at Frank's.
I was fascinated by the relationship between the mind and the brain.
As a seasoned philosopher, Norman Melkert searches for answers.
What is there, and how should we live?
Like the greats before him.
Hard to improve on Plato and Aristotle. And Descartes coming into the modern period.
The retired professor and author.
The book has turned out to be rather a success.
Ponders life and the universe around him.
What do we know, and how do we know that we know it?
But one burning question still captivates.
This is Vietnam.
Where to next?
This is in the mountains, probably in Montana.
The Henrico man's passion?
I love to be on the bike. It's one of the great pleasures of my life.
Norm discovered the sport late in life.
I love it so much that since I started riding at the age of 42, I've ridden over...
No. I mean, yes, no.
It's like when you're given directions and you're like, turn left, right.
Right.
It's like, what?
Don't call it ping pong.
Oh, yeah.
When you enter in the North College Hill Rec Center, you might faintly hear an unfamiliar sound of intense competition. A fierce desire to win. Yes, you got it right. It's table tennis.
The biggest reaction you get from people who see the play for the first time is, I didn't know you could sweat playing that game. You know, it's like, I just thought you had a beer in one hand and a paddle in the other, and, you know, it's just casual.
You're looking at the 6th most popular sport on the planet, played on 4 continents, with countries supporting their best players in international competitions. The Cincinnati Table Tennis Club has been around for more than 40 years at different venues. But since the early 2000s, they've found a home right here in North College Hill.
You know, you don't have to be affluent. You have doctors, lawyers, and you have bus drivers, and, you know, blue-collar workers, and, you know, folks who are unemployed, you know, that are playing this game. And, you know, it's real competitive. Folks get pretty serious about it. You know, I've watched some matches, and, you know, but seeing that ball just, you know, go back and forth again, you know, from the idea of the eye and hand coordination.
I actually stopped.
Well, when you went back, I was like,
you know
okay.
what? The wide shot. Another hard thing, I'm gonna say this since we're being recorded and everything, is it's always hard. Like when you're shooting with different types of cameras on one shoot, it's very hard to match them sometimes. So you got to be cognizant of that and be able to do that in post. If you don't do that in post, then it's gonna be a glare. You know, like, well, I know.
I think if you can get them close enough, that's
you can
fine.
get them
because
close
getting
enough,
them to match, there's no way on God's green earth that I could ever get that camera to match my DSLR Blackmagic.
No,
and that's what
no.
I have to shoot with. But what I'm saying is, if you can get them close enough, that's fine. But you're never, ever going to be able to marry them.
You're not going to be able to get them close. But if you don't work on it a little bit in post, then it's going to be a big glare.
I think that sometimes,
that
yes, perfection is the goal, but that's just, it's not a reality.
It is for me.
I'm
sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It is.
Shake my hand right now. I'm buying you a plane ticket to Louisville, and the day you match the Blackmagic Cinema 4K with my Sony 300, I will pay you $10,000.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're gonna match quality from different shots, different cameras, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, If I look at a shot from a Osmo that's very contrasty and very rich in the colors, and then you go to your other camera and you don't at least crush the blacks in post, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, but they're not going to match perfectly no matter what.
No, I'm not saying it matched perfectly.
Okay, yes.
But what I'm saying, if you don't
Okay.
do something to
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah,
You
I just
at least
think
get
that
them to that.
Yeah, you ain't
as
gonna,
long as they're
you're not-
close, but
Yeah.
I think perfect is not a reality.
But I didn't say perfect. I never did say perfect.
But when I just said perfect is not a reality, you said it is for me.
Well, I meant to say to get them close is a reality.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect is not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. Next.
It's a no. She's willing to bet.
Oh, hell
wanna
yeah.
take that-
Come up with
I wanna
something
get
that I
that-
All right,
can-
come
I
on.
get that plane ticket though.
You know why? Because my Sony camera shoots
Can I
in
get that plane
720.
ticket?
My Sony camera shoots in 720. My Blackmagic shoots in 4K.
I'm not gonna
I
write
would
it.
not just. Hey, look here. You need to throw the other camera away.
Yeah, you tell my boss.
So don't write this one down because we
Oh,
don't know if
okay.
it's there.
Don't shoot. Don't. You
Don't
need
write
to
this
sh-
down yet.
You don't need to shoot that other camera anymore.
Oh well,
She
when
does have it.
Blackmagic gets here. Oh yeah.
When's it coming?
We ordered it in December 21st. It's on the back.
The road to the big leagues has many pit stops along the way for those heading to the Colorado Rockies. The Asheville Tourist is one of the first steps on that journey.
I love baseball. It's a great sport. All these kids are just trying to make their own path in life.
Nobody wants the metal chairs because they're hard, and the blue chairs kind of give a little lenience. So,
relief pitcher Robert Tyler.
Ever since college, Bert has just stuck with me from then on. So everybody here calls me Bert now. So
Is in his second season at this stop.
Hey, let's go.
And while he's front and center for every game, he also has the best seat in the house for a nightly concert.
I'm from Cordell, Georgia, so I grew up listening to country music and all, but that's whenever I don't pitching the game and I'm just chilling.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yes, it's a no. Yes, it's a no.
Oh my God.
Last of the
Last of the lanes.
What if it's bowling? Oh,
Huh?
it's bowling.
It's a quiet night in Blanco, Texas.
Ah, Lacey, good job, good job.
But inside this humble building, things are on a roll.
Holy cow.
This is 9-pin bowling.
Come on, Howard.
Brought here by German immigrants in the mid-1800s. Once popular across the country, it is now only played in South and Central Texas.
During the Prohibition period, 9-pin was associated with speakeasies.
It was also associated with gambling. And during Prohibition, 9-pin bowling clubs started closing everywhere but Texas.
Just because Texans kind of do their own thing.
Today, there are just 19 9-pin bowling alleys left in Bexar, Comal, and Guadalupe counties.
From what I know, we are the only people left in the country doing it.
It's different than modern bowling. The pins are set up in a diamond. The goal? Don't hit the middle red pin.
The activity of trying to leave just the pin in the middle makes it more interesting, more fun.
Teams have 6 members and bowl as a team.
9-pin, you go up there and you bowl and you leave something, and then you bowl again and you still miss. Well, they send somebody else.
All right, Aaron, go get him.
To go get that pin. And you can pick and choose who you want to send on your team.
It fosters more of a family atmosphere and a group atmosphere, which makes it actually more enjoyable.
There are no automated pin setting machines.
Is that I need the bumpers.
They need to let me walk out halfway.
When I was a kid, that was the only exercise.
So you're pretty
5
good
seconds
then?
left. Ready, set, go. In the front yard of Zachary's home, there are plays to call.
We toss to the right. 1-1, go.
And games to win.
Oh, hours.
He'll come in for a few minutes and then he's right back outside.
The end zone is just beyond the walkway.
Let's go!
There are only victories here.
There's times that his back hurts.
The defeats Zachary lets others worry about.
There's only about 140 cases in the entire world.
A very rare genetic disorder called Dubowitz syndrome. Doctors said he'll never play contact sports.
He doesn't have a lot of friends that come to the house to play with him. What do you want?
But he can play all 11 positions on this field, defying doctors' words.
He literally just said he won't have an imagination.
Yes. This is enough.
He's a kid. Yeah. Yes. No. Yes.
It is a no. It is finished.
Berkeley Timberwolves.
The what?
The Berkeley
okay.
Timberwolves.
I'm just gonna.
This may look like an ordinary drive.
These some of my kids right here. Look at them.
But it's more than that for Coach Glenn Yearling.
See what time it is? All right, what's wrong?
I'm gonna get myself.
All right, I'm gonna go get y'all and I'm coming back.
It's how he helps the kids in his community. This day, he's driving around the Berkeley neighborhood of Norfolk, picking them up for practice. They're part of a nonprofit youth sports organization called the Berkeley Timberwolves.
Yeah, them all my kids too.
It was created by Coach Glenn nearly 25 years ago as a safe place for kids in the area.
It's a program that's saving lives.
An area often associated with gangs, gun violence,
You know, you never know when a shooting gonna take place.
and other crimes.
I moved in, and the very next morning, somebody had broken my house.
But that hasn't stopped Coach Glenn from investing in these kids' lives, even if it means spending his last dime. With no sponsors, the program relies heavily on fundraising and donations.
The more important thing to me is just making sure they're great people. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of the program being good people.
And you'll find them at the Berkeley Park getting coaching in football.
Everybody, just make sure you spread it.
And in life.
Everything is about school. Everything, bro. You can't do nothing without school. Are we clear? Yes, sir. I don't want no more calls from no teachers, man.
For Coach Glenn, this is about more than a sport. It's about being present.
Come here. Who is it?
In some of these kids' turbulent lives.
Calm down, man. Coach right here, man. Don't worry about that.
And you may not have known their name before. But don't expect the Berkeley Timberwolves to go away anytime soon.
Rise up, get up.
Coach Glenn says as long as these kids show up, he'll show up for them.
You know, I keep going and going and going and going. It's just seeing them go from babies to adults and making something out of their lives. That's very important to me. If I took on this task of being the coach out here in this community, I'm gonna be here till, you know, God ready for me.
I'm Erin E. LeBeau, 13 News Now.
It was good, but it just doesn't stand up.
It doesn't stand up.
No, it's a good story. I wanted to just see the whole story.
I know, I did too.
Right.
That moment with the
Yeah, it was
coach
a
and the
good
kid
moment.
was
I think we could have stayed there.
good.
A little bit.
You could've.
Unless they didn't want to.
They showed us, they took us there twice, right?
They went there twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if that moment got intrusive after that, and they didn't, you know what I mean?
But that's what it was all about, helping, you know.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying, because it's happened to me before too, or I want it to linger longer, but then it's a minor dealing with domestic issues. Like we can't.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yes, it's enough. Or do we have another?
That was it.
Oh God.
All right, guys.
So,
Brilliant Hannah.
We
Was
saw
that?
them. We saw them.
We did?
Okay, so let's get off live stream first. The soccer.